Yes. Happy morning, children. Hope you all are doing good. Okay. So, in the last class, what we have understood, children? So, we have seen just an introduction part of the same chapter, that is the rise of nationalism in Europe. Okay. So, how this nationalism, the idea of nationalism started to spread all over the Europe, and how the countries has become the independent, we are going to see about in this entire chapter. Okay. So finally, in the same chapter, that is the rise of nationalism in Europe, the last year we have studied about, the one entire chapter about the French Revolution. Yes or no? So in today's class, we are going to revise that entire chapter. Okay, that is the French Revolution and the idea of the nation, how they got this idea of nation or nationalism or the nation state. Okay, and we'll go for recapitulation. Okay, yes, children. So hope you guys can remember what are all the concepts we have learned in the last year. Okay, the first thing, the French Revolution, how it has started, why it has started, what are all the causes for the French Revolution, and how the people were divided. All those things you people can remember, right? So how the people were divided, their children, there are three estates. Do you guys remember? The first estate was clergy, second nobility, and the remaining everyone were considered as a third estate people, that is peasants. And there what happened, children? Only the first two estate people have got the privileges, that means the advantages. But coming to the third estate people, only those people were struggling a lot, and only the third estate people were paying the taxes. Do you guys remember or not? Yes, only the third estate people were paying the tax. And as we know, what happened that time? The Louis XVI. Do you guys remember? Yes, Louis XVI, the king. Even they were following the monarchy system, and the King Louis XVI has drained his entire treasure. What was the reason, children? Can you people remember? Yes, due to some continuous wars, and he was, his lavish lifestyle, and he was helping some 13 American colonies. So finally what happened? To meet his, the entire dynasty's, the expenses, he was in need of money. So that is the reason he planned to increase the taxes. That and all you guys remember, right? So once he planned to increase the taxes, he has to call for a meeting. Do you guys remember the word called Estate General Meeting? Okay. So there he has called all the three estate people for a meeting. Okay. So later, how those people, the third estate people, they planned to have their own national assembly, and they started to draft the constitution. That and all we'll see. Okay, see here, the first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. This you people know. Even in the last year, in your civics also, we have studied about democracy in the contemporary world. So there also we understood the French Revolution is a base for other countries to start thinking about this nationalism. Okay, so finally, in the year of 1789, this is the first clear expression for the nationalism idea. Okay, see, and the political and constitutional changes that came in the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of French citizens. So finally what happened? They were trying to abolish the monarchy. Okay, in France, the people were struggling to have a equality among themselves. They were expecting some political and constitutional changes where they'll be having the equal rights for all the people, and where, yes, the abolition of privileges by birth, because as we know the first two estate people had the privileges by birth. So to abolish that, the people were struggling a lot, and to have a sovereignty and the equality among themselves instead of having a monarchy. Okay, see here. Yes, the revolution proclaimed that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation and shape its destiny. So as we have seen, what happened there, children? So they themselves started to make their own, the people militia, and they started to fight against the Louis XVI, and they were opposing the monarchy. And later, what happened? They started to abolish the monarchy, and they started to draft the constitution. That we'll be seeing in the next thing. Okay, see. And the one more thing, what happened? So guys, they were trying to have to shape the entire destiny and to have their constitution, and they wanted to change the political changes, all those things. But do you think it is very easy to gather all the people or unite all the people of the country? That is not so easy. Yes or no, children? So that is the reason they were struggling a lot to unite the people among themselves. Okay, to unite the people, to struggle or to fight against the monarchy, or to abolish the monarchy. So that time what happened? They were trying a lot to unite the people. So that time they were doing some dramas, we have seen in the last year. So in the newspapers, magazines, print media, everyone was struggling to unite the people to fight against this monarchy. Okay, so that time they started with the common idea. See here, the ideas of les patries, that means the fatherland, and les citoyens, the citizens, emphasized the nation of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. So take it as an example, children. For example, coming to India. So we'll be telling India is a motherland. Yes or no? So we are denoting India like a motherland. Same way they are telling the France is a fatherland. Okay, and here we all are citizens of the Indian citizens of India. Do you guys remember the word citoyen and citoyenne? Yes, so here what happens, and they are telling the idea of fatherland and the citizens. So finally this constituted the people, or emphasized the nation of a entire to unite the community, to become a united, to have with the equal rights under the constitution. Okay, so to unite or to constitute the people, okay, they all were struggling, and they came up with the idea of fatherland and the citizens. See here, the Estate General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. So here what happens, children? Just now I told you people. So finally the king alone cannot take the decision to increase the taxes. So finally he has called the meeting of all the three estate people. Okay, general estate meeting. So that time what happened? The voting right was not equal. Yes or no? All the estates were having the each vote. But the third estate demanded for, yes, the each person should have a voting right. But finally when the king denied that, they all walked out of this assembly or the meeting, and they they all assembled in the, do you guys remember the tennis court? Indoor tennis court in Versailles. Okay, they all gathered in the indoor tennis court of Versailles, and they have, they all have promised, took oath. Okay, they all were promised, took oaths, and they said that till they draft the constitution, no one will leave. Okay, so finally they started the National Assembly. That means all the third estate people. Okay, there we could have seen the prosperous and educated people were involved in drafting of the constitution. Okay, these are all the concepts you people have learned already, children. Just reglance those, children. Okay, you just reglance those concepts and it will be easy for you people. Okay, see, a centralized administrative system was put in place and it formulated uniform laws for all citizens within its territory. So that is what they are telling. That means they started to draft the constitution. Okay, finally in the year of 1791 they completed the drafting of this constitution, and finally the Louis XVI agreed for the abolition of monarchy and he adopted constitutional monarchy. Now also it is a monarchy only, but he started to, whatever the decisions is going to take, it has to be according to the constitution. Okay, so finally the centralized administrative system was put in the place and they all started to formulate the uniform laws. Okay, that is the uniform laws for all the citizens of the world, because earlier they did not have the common or uniform laws for everyone. It was different for everyone. For the first estate people it is different, second estate people, nobles, it is different, and the peasants were struggling a lot. Okay, to make everyone equal, they drafted the uniform laws. Okay, see, internal customs duties and dues were abolished. So whatever the internal within the country or within their territory, how much they had this custom duties or the taxes, all those things were abolished. Okay, and a uniform system of weights and measures was adopted. Okay, the uniform, that is the same kind of weights and the measures were adopted. See here, children, for example, what happens when it is a different weights? In some people will be measuring, the 1 meter will be this much, or in some places they will be measuring 1 meter will be this much. So what happens? There will be no uniformity in that systems, in the measures or the weights. So what happens? It is a loss for the merchants. Yes or no? So there what happened? It will be a big problem for the merchants. So that is the reason, to have the uniformity in this weights and measures, they made the uniform system of weights and measures. Okay, for example, now 1 kg is 1000 grams. Everywhere it is 1000 grams. Yes or no? So like that, they have uniform the weights and measures. Okay, earlier they did not have any kind of uniform system or uniform weights and measures. So that is the reason finally this uniformity has been introduced. Okay, see here, the regional, the delegates were discouraged, and French, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the nation. So finally, whatever the many, the regional languages were there, a regional, the communication, the mode of communication was there. Finally, they all were discouraged, and finally, the French language has become the common language of the nation. Okay, so there they made French as a common language. Hope you guys are understanding, right? To have the equality among the people. Okay, to have the equality among the people, finally they abolished, the customs, duties and the taxes or the dues, whatever there, and then they even had they started with the uniform system of measures and the weights, and then the French has become the common language of the nation. Okay, the other languages or other the dialects were discouraged and they made French as a common language of the nation.